are whole. Won't you join us?
We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are whole. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am whole.
Healing me.
I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am whole.
Lives in me. You are holy.
Spirit divine,
You are holy.
come to me.
You are holy.
Feeling love,
You are holy.
healing me.
You are holy.
Open my heart,
You are holy.
allow me to see
You are holy.
beauty and love
You are holy.
lives in me.
We are
holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are whole.
We are
holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are whole.
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 God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need.
Won't you join us?
God is my source,
God is my source.
God is my power,
God is my power.
God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks,
So I give thanks
for all my blessings.
for all my blessings.
God gives me everything I need. Peace, peace is my source.
This is my source.
Peace is my power.
This is my power.
Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks,
So I give thanks
for all my blessings.
for all my blessings.
Peace gives me everything I need.
Take a breath.
Love is my source, love is my power, love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks,
So I give thanks
for all my blessings.
for all my blessings.
Love gives me everything I need. Joy, joy is my
Joy
source,
is my source.
joy is my power,
Joy is my power.
joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks,
So I give thanks
for all my blessings.
for all my blessings.
Joy gives me everything I need.
Take it, Eric. my source.
God is my power.
God is my power.
God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks.
So I give thanks
For all my blessings.
for all my blessings.
God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living here in Santa Rosa. And thank you to our inspiring band for that wonderful music. And a special thank you to our guest artists, Lori Jones and Eric Montgomery on our bongos over there. We had a bongo solo and a bass solo today. That's wonderful. All about those solos. Right, so thank you so much for that. Got some wonderful music and some great things here today. And I am Reverend Russ Laguerre. I am your assistant minister. And if you are joining us for the first time, we especially want to welcome you. Especially if it's the first time in a long time. We've had quite a few people who have been finding their way back here after this pandemic of 2 years. And it's really wonderful to see all of these new faces every Sunday. And a special welcome to all of our live streamers as well. And live streamers, if you are enjoying our live stream on Facebook and YouTube, we invite you to click that shiny share button on the bottom as well, because that helps us to share our wonderful message here at the center. So we are very appreciative of everybody who's been commenting and liking and sharing and being part of our conversation. And if you're wondering about how you can find out more about what's going on at our center, you can always find out everything on our website, cslsr.org. There you will find our Sunday bulletin by clicking on the photo of a typewriter on our front page. And that Sunday bulletin, we refresh that every week. Our wonderful web designer and writer, and he does so many things for us, Alan Yeager. He updates that every week with everything that's going on at the center. And that is your best resource to find out how you can get plugged in outside of our Sunday services here. Yes, I know. I think Alan definitely deserves a round of applause if you all know how much he did here. It's rather staggering, actually, the amount of good stuff that he does for us. So Alan, if you're watching, thank you so much. Now, at the Center for Spiritual Living in Santa Rosa, we are motivated by a vision of a healthy, loving world. It is known as the global vision, and it calls us to imagine a world that works for everyone. We envision a world in which resources are valued, cared for, and grown, and where there is generous and continuous sharing of these resources. And we follow this vision through our 5 core spiritual practices in our teaching, The Science of Mind. And would you please read those with me? Spiritual study, affirmative prayer, meditation, selfless service, and spiritual circulation. And there's going to be a really wonderful way for you to engage in that spiritual circulation after this service today if you're here in person, so stay tuned for that. Now, I know that somewhere between the music, the meditation, the prayer, the practices, and Dr. Edwards' message today is exactly what you need to experience for the next step in your spiritual unfoldment. You are so very welcome here. Now, please enjoy some music before a short time of silent contemplation before our prayer.
When I'm caught up in trying to move forward, trying so hard to find a better way, when my mind won't stop, when I'm beating myself up, I know it's time to stop and gently say, It's enough to feel the breeze on my face. It's enough to just breathe life. It's enough to know the love that's in my heart. And it's enough just looking in your eyes. And in this place of calm and still and wonder, life is magical again, and I am free. And I don't need to know just where or how to go. Right here, right now, is all I need. And it's enough to feel the breeze on my face. It's enough to just breathe life. It's enough to know the love that's in my heart. And it's enough just looking in your eyes. Oh, life is a gift. So are you, and so am I. I don't ever want that truth to slip on by. So please remind me that it's enough to feel the breeze on my face. It's enough to just breathe life. It's enough to know the love that's in my heart. And it's enough just looking in your eyes. Oh, it's enough just looking in your eyes. Oh.
It is enough to stop in this very moment. In this very moment, the divine presence is fully abiding. It is that one source of all of creation living in every part, every person. It is that unfolds through the unified field of all of creation. God, Spirit, this one right here. And so I stop in this moment to simply recognize, to align with this oneness. Knowing truly it is the life of my life, all that I truly am. And so I know it as the truth of each and every one here this morning. It is the truth of each and every one hearing this service today. For it is that lives within and around us as one life, as one source, supporting, sustaining all that we are. It is enough. We are enough right here. And so I know this truth unfolding through this service this morning as it expresses through every word spoken, sung, through every glance, through every hug, through every breath. It gives forth, it receives as one divine expression. And so I stop in this awareness, so grateful for this stopping, this recognizing, knowing that we are in this divine embrace. We are in good hands right now. I let go. I let this be. And so it is. Amen. Good morning. I'm Ruth Barnard, a minister here at our center. Please join me in reading this morning's affirmation. I am one with all of life on this planet Earth, and so it is.
Conscious evolution, bring a revolution, show us a solution. Conscious evolution, bring a revolution, show us a solution. We breathe with the earth, we shine with the sun, we fly with the eagle, our hearts beat as one. We flow with the river, we sway with the tree. All our relations, all living things. One heartbeat, do we feel it? One pulsing rhythm inside and out. One cry for love's revealing. You, me, land and sea. Conscious evolution, bring a revolution, show us a solution. Conscious evolution, bring a revolution, show us a solution. We dance 'neath the moon, we sing to the sky, we bow to the ocean, one with the tide. We stand on the mountain, we drink from one stream. All our relations, all living things. One heartbeat, do we feel it? One pulsing rhythm inside and out. One cry for love's revealing. You, me, land and sea. One heart evolution. Bring a revolution. Show us a solution. Conscious evolution. Bring a revolution. Show us a solution. Conscious evolution. Bring a revolution. Show us a solution.
Thank you very much. Let's appreciate our musicians and our guests so very much. Good morning, beautiful people of Centers for Spiritual Living, and welcome to, what month are we in? August. It's a new month and a new theme for the month, and you probably have already checked in your journal, and you know that the theme for this month is all about nature. It's also about calling our attention in as planetary citizens to take care of nature, to feel our connection to it, to respond to it, and to take our place in creation as stewards and not as consumers or users or dominators of nature and our planet. And so when I saw this topic, I thought I must talk about Native American wisdom traditions. I have to. And I'm a novice. I'm still learning about Native American wisdom traditions. And one of the most significant things that I think I've learned about Native American wisdom is that Native American wisdom isn't a thing that can be taken out and separated from life and studied on its own. It's all connected. And there are many hundreds of distinct native indigenous people, each with their own wisdom, their own ceremonies, their own sacred stories, their own origin stories. Hundreds. They can't just be all lumped together as one thing. And what I'm noticing, however, is that there are some recurring themes among Native American people that relate to our topic today about nature and our place in this natural world. And I'm learning it from the contemporary Native American author and teacher Michael Garrett in his beautiful book. And some of the things I'm picking up from reading Michael Garrett are, first of all, that everything, according to Native American tradition, everything is imbued with, saturated with, part of spirit. The second is that there is a constant conversation, a dialogue, a relationship taking place between all of the elements of creation all of the time. And the third is that humankind is part of that complex relationship, that web, if you like, not set aside from creation, not set above creation, but part of everything. Before the pandemic, I used to take groups of people to the island of Bali in Indonesia, where I noticed a similar theme. In Bali, the ordinary and the sacred are the same thing, integrated or inseparable. And there is daily visible evidence in the culture of this integrated spiritual and ordinary life. It's kind of different here in the United States, where religion or spirituality, it shows up more as a kind of optional add-on. Would you like some religion with that life? So we kind of, our approach, this is a gross generalization, but it's more like we'll do it when it's convenient or when we are in trouble or when we need help or when we wish to control something. So here in the West, religion or spirituality is very intensely personal and private, and we make a big deal of separating it from the rest of culture, keeping it apart. In fact, it's common to hear that we ought not to bring it up in polite conversation. That's the last thing you should do, is talk about what you believe. You could offend somebody. And so, as a result, I'm guessing many of us struggle carving out time to do spirituality. Yesterday, I was in Chapala, Mexico, for the graduation of a new group of Spanish-speaking spiritual directors from the School of Spiritual Leadership. They don't use the term reverend in Mexico to keep a distinction between existing religious traditions. They call themselves spiritual directors. And their leader, Dr. Rebecca Pina, who has been here on this very stage visiting us, she began the graduation with such beautiful ceremony, with dignity and procession and music and prayer. And she explained to the students why it is important to do that. She said, you want to mark the important moments of your life with this mindfulness, this ceremony, because ceremony opens our hearts and connects us to what is going on in a way that words and thoughts can't do by themselves. She said to the students, you might not remember in a couple of years anything your teachers taught you. You might not remember your studies, but what you will remember is this feeling in the ceremony where your friends and your community are all part of witnessing as you take this step into your new identity. Oh, and it got me to remember how in the Balinese culture and in the Native American wisdom traditions, ceremony is woven into everything. Indeed, I'm learning in some Native American worldviews, it's inseparable. There's not ceremony and life. It is life. Health and wellness is tied up, part of being in step with the spirit of nature, I guess we can say. And in some Native American cultures, I learned that ceremony is barely recognized as being different from doing the things of your life. So there are ceremonies or rituals associated with, well, everything. Rites of passage, harvest, planting, childbirthing, passing on. They don't seem, as I learn about it, they don't seem to be like optional add-ons. It's more like it's part of life. It is the dialogue of life with itself. Now, I mentioned the contemporary Native American educator and author Michael Garrett. He is a traditional Eastern Cherokee, and he's a trained counselor. And his work is wonderful because he creates a bridge between ancient wisdom and contemporary modern thinking. He's got a beautiful book, Walking on the Wind. And among other things, as I read it, I'm learning that, well, there's a sad part for us to embrace. Sadly, Native American culture has suffered immeasurable loss in the continuity of the tradition between the present and the pre-Columbian America. So much culture and so much wisdom suffered devastation caused by forced conversion to Christianity. And then disease, and then war. So it interrupted the traditional chain of continuity, handing down the wisdom from elders to people. So it suffered as a result. So today, sadly, some Native American cultures are facing the challenge of not having access to the rich heritage of their cultural history. And they are, through people like Michael, in the process of rebuilding, regrouping, reclaiming that. And I learned also that the immense diversity among the Native American people, it makes it really impossible for those of us like me learning about it to simplify it. You know how we like to do in Western culture? Give me a quick summary. Give me a 30-second TikTok video. Give me a few bullet points so I can say I know something, so I can generalize about it. So I am aware in myself that to summarize Native American wisdom traditions is to fall short right in the beginning. There isn't one single source. There is no central founding figure, like in Buddhism or Christianity or Islam, to turn to. And when Europeans first arrived in this land, the diversity of the first people was even greater, even richer, over thousands possibly of distinct groups of people, each with their own rituals, each with their own stories, each with their own festivals and their beliefs and creation stories and codes of life, etc. So I stand here today feeling pretty humble, saying I notice general themes. I'm fully aware that my ignorance of the big picture may lead me to misunderstanding or missing a lot. And so I know that I've got to continue learning respectfully, with curiosity. And I've become aware that one of the first things I have to do is to acknowledge that the land we are on today is the land of the original people of the Pomo nations. And it is important to me now, and I hope you will take it up too, to learn about them and what happened to them in the process of colonization. The information is available. And out of respect, I have to learn about it. One of the most relevant general awarenesses that I have learned about that it relates to our topic today is that in Native American wisdom, earth, nature, well, they are thought of as being our true home, a true spiritual dwelling place, right here and right now. There seems to be a focus on maintaining a harmony with this home and not focusing on later, on death, on the world to come. And as I read more about Native American wisdom traditions, I'm sadly aware, especially since I was born and raised in South Africa where the same is true, I'm aware of the vast damage done to indigenous people. Especially since UNESCO has established August 9th, coming up, as the International Day of World Indigenous People, which comes, as one of my Canadian colleagues, Reverend Karen Wilson, pointed out to me, on the heels of Pope Francis's historic trip of penance to the Canadian cities of Iqaluit, Montreal, and Edmonton following the discovery of more than 3,500 missing indigenous children in unmarked graves on the grounds of former residential schools run by the Catholic Church. How can it happen? Well, I was taught in school that anything not Christian was to be considered invalid. Maybe cute, interesting, but certainly not to be taken seriously. I had to unlearn that kind of thinking. Native American culture has suffered a similar treatment that continues to today. It has been minimized by our culture, insensitively appropriated, oversimplified in movies, wrongly portrayed in movies, and exploited. There is encouraging news in that there seems to be an upsurgence of sincere interest to learn about Native American, indigenous First People culture and spirituality, about its reverence for life. Not to mimic it, but to learn about it. And I think for me, the most respectful way to learn about Native American wisdom traditions is to learn from Native Americans. Which is why I mentioned Michael Garrett's book. He's a Native American, and he helps people like me, maybe like you, understand more about his culture's worldview, and in particular, how important it is to pay attention to this dialogue between all the things of nature, this conversation, this relationship of spirit. And he encourages us to do what we can to reawaken and to reinforce our connection to the complex web of life, not only for our own benefit, but for the benefit of all our relations within the web itself. He says in the book that modern dependency on technology may be responsible for why we depend less and less on inner technology. The technology that would allow us to access the conversation, the dialogue between the allness of creation, the real World Wide Web, if you will, where everything that we would ever need to live and grow and commune and relate and love is constantly being broadcast. Our faith tradition says there is one Spirit common to all things and all people, persistently present and available. On page 29 of his book, he says, "In our search for newer and better technology, it is possible that we have forgotten how to depend on our own internal technology, that which provides us with everything we ever need to know in order to live and grow. Could it be that we have allowed our sacred stream of consciousness to become muddied with facts and figures and the need for life to be quick and easy? In creating technology to simplify our lives, might we have also further complicated them? In today's world of information and speed, it is important not to forget why we are here. Life has a way of reminding us when we listen." So it takes me at last to the topic for today. I knew I would get here. We are being called to show up and become aware of our connection to nature. We are being invited to pay attention to life and to consciously take our place in the community of all beings as stewards and not as overlords or consumers or owners. Michael has a beautiful suggestion. He suggests that a really good place for us to start is by taking 2 fingers and placing them on your own pulse. You can try that. And paying attention to your pulse. The way it feels. How it touches your fingertips. How fast it moves, how slow it moves. The strength of it. And he suggests that once you and I learn how to pay attention to our heart, literally, it then becomes much easier to pay attention to our heart figuratively. And he also talks about how our brain can get in the way of this connection. It's busy. I don't blame the brain because it's overstimulated. It's got to multitask to get by in this world. So he says it's important to seek out a pace and a surrounding that will allow each of us to enter into a state of calm watchfulness. Without distraction, without interference, for example, like in nature, but not only in nature, everywhere. Another author, Sage Eileen Bennett, suggests that we can create that spaciousness through gardening, through touching the earth in your own backyards, even if you don't have a garden, by spending time, maybe in a friend's garden. Get your hands into the earth. Do some weeding or harvesting right now. Or collect leaves in the fall. Or plant in the spring. Or by just pausing wherever you are to feel, to relax, to listen. I mentioned I was in Mexico yesterday. One of the days while I was in Mexico, I was walking along the shore of Lake Chapala, the largest natural lake in Mexico. It was so beautiful. And there was this moment on the boardwalk where it was early enough that there was just stillness. And I was standing looking at the magnificence of the lake, and I thought of the question, like Michael suggests, what do you think nature is trying to say to you? And I was standing there, and then all of a sudden, a whole group of tourists arrived in a bus. And there was so much noise pollution. I mean, it was nice. It was joy, and there were children, and they wanted to get their picture at the famous Chapala sign. So there was literally a drowning out of creation, and I thought to myself, no wonder I cannot hear the World Wide Web. So I'm loving what I'm learning about Native American wisdom traditions, and it's reminding me, even in the small amount I'm learning, it's reminding me of something I know. Stop rushing. Where are you going in such a hurry? What's so urgent? What's more important than being here? And then by extension, why am I so busy jumping to conclusions when I haven't consulted the World Wide Web? Why am I in such a hurry to explain who did what and why and what their motives are when I haven't consulted the World Wide Web? And instead, to carve out time to be, and particularly in nature, but not just in nature, to be. In his book, I think he wrote this especially for me, even though he wrote this book a decade ago. I think he was, I know life is not all about me, but I think this is for me. Maybe it's for you. In the Cherokee way, when confronted with a difficult decision or a sense of uncertainty, it is important for the person to sit with it for at least 4 days before taking any action. I can feel the space in that. I think tuning in to the guide that is spirit does require spaciousness, or at least patience, or at least non-rushing. So I leave you with the invitation that I'm giving myself. Find a way to nature this week, to a garden maybe, or to a park, or to a potted plant in your living room, or join Reverend Russ on his spirit walk this coming Saturday along Santa Rosa Creek. He'll tell you about it in a moment. And spend some moments asking yourself that question: what is nature trying to tell me? In our journal, there is a prayer for August, and I share it with you as a way of bringing our time to a close. I invite you to breathe in and to exhale, letting your eyes closed. Spirit gloriously expresses itself as the heavens, the planets, the oceans, and all life. As life, it is teeming, swirling, rising, falling. As life, it is visible and magnificent, as well as mysterious and intimate. My life is that same life, the same glorious expression. And I open my heart today, and I open my mind today to embrace the sacredness of my relations, of plants, of animals, of insects, of rocks, of waters, of heavens, of seas, all the sources, magnificent inventions and designs and expressions. I realize through this prayer that stewardship is mine to embrace. And so I embrace stewardship with reverence for the amazing expression of life all around me. I humbly and joyfully align my thoughts and words and actions to harmonize with the expression of divine bounty. And with a thankful heart, I release this, my prayer, into that aspect of the divine we understand as the law, confident that it is responding to me even now. And so it is. I invite you to let the next breath you take be deeper than the one before. And to exhale again. As we move into our time of circulation that Reverend Russ mentioned. Circulation is the practice, the spiritual practice of receiving, giving, asking, forgiving, giving thanks, appreciating, acknowledging, thanking. These are the spiritual activities that keep us in the flow of that World Wide Web conversation. And I have been talking over the past several weeks about our financial situation as a result of the 2.5-year slumber from the pandemic and the impact it has had on our community. And so many people have responded with kind words and prayers, and also with cash. And I'm grateful to that. And one of the most you may recall I said, there isn't a landlord for us to reach out to and say, there's a hole in the roof. We're the landlord. We're the ones. There isn't somebody we can say, hey, we need our parking lot covered. I forget the term for doing that. We are the landlord. And so one check for $1,000 came in and said, with love, the landlord. Isn't that heartwarming? That is so beautiful. And it's one of 3 checks in the same week for $1,000. So I am touched by that, and thank you. We've got a ways to go. And so for those of you who are in the position to help, please do. And for those of you who are in a position to be here and receive help and inspiration, thank you. We're all in it together. There's no one size fits all, and there's room and place and participation for everyone. There are so many ways to contribute. You can do it on our website under Donate. It's very easy and convenient. You can send us a check with a beautiful note from the landlord. I'll accept that. And you can text your donation. Do you know we have received so many new text messages or text donations from people. And if you can't remember the number as you leave today, the ushers have these cards that you can pick up and take home. And I, for a while, carried that in my wallet, forgetting that my phone remembers who I've texted recently. But it was a comfort to have it. This is a wonderful way. Also, you can drop something in the baskets on the way out. The ushers will be there, and our auto giving option is available if you want to know about that. Our staff are ready and available to help you set that up. Before we move on, let us take a moment then to think back on our participation in the center. Think of what you have given to the center. By being here, you are a gift. Maybe you hold the center and its community in your heart. That is a gift. Maybe you volunteered or brought your wonderful children to be here. That is a gift. Maybe you made a donation. That is a gift. So won't you place your hand on your chest as a symbol of your heart connection to your spiritual home and say, as the landlord, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and prosper. It does amazing things in the world. And so it is. And now, Reverend Russ, won't you please come and tell us what's going on in our community?
Can we give some love to Dr. Edward for that beautiful talk? Thank you, Dr. Edward. All right. Well, as usual, there is quite a lot going on here, and we are excited to announce that Sharing Our Bounty is back today. For everybody who is here at our 9 a.m. service in person, we are already set up outside. I don't know what's out there yet because I've been in here in the service, but that is our currently monthly sharing event now where our community's been bringing in all kinds of goodies to share, whether it's baked goods or flowers or fresh produce. I don't know if Mitzi had all of those tangerines and peaches, I think she said that she had, that there are just so many. But there are all kinds of good stuff there. And even if you didn't bring anything, please don't worry. It's still there for you. Take whatever you like. We should have bags for you too to take stuff home. And it's a really wonderful way too to perhaps meet a new friend. So check that out. We will have all of that set up after this service all the way up until the 11 a.m. service this morning. Also, if you've been thinking about volunteering at the center, but you're not quite sure where to start, go ahead and stop over at the information table or send an email to Linda Han, our COO, and she will tell you all about all of the many amazing ways that you can volunteer here. And if you've been wondering, well, why would I volunteer at the Center for Spiritual Living? I wonder what that's all about. Keep an eye out on our Facebook page. We have a volunteer blog that posts on there regularly, and we are going to be posting many amazing stories from all of our wonderful volunteers about why they love being of service to this amazing community. So I'm really looking forward to that. That'll be posting regularly over the next few months, so definitely be sure and check that out. Now, our group, Full Circle, that is dedicated to conversations around death and dying, is meeting today over Zoom at 1 p.m. Pacific time, and you can join this beautiful conversation by clicking on the photo of the doves on our website. And our next Spirit Walk, yes. Oh, they're meeting at Finley Park today. I guess they're not on Zoom. I read that wrong. So yes, they are meeting at Finley Park today, but it's still at 1 p.m. Yes, Reverend Ruth? Okay, it is still at 1 p.m. See, this is why I'm so glad that Reverend Ruth is here today. So yes, they are meeting at Finley Park, which is amazing because, hey, they're going to be in nature and get to talk about this wonderful conversation. So be sure and check that out as well. Our next Spirit Walk is happening this coming Saturday, August 13th at 9 a.m. And we are going to be walking on the Santa Rosa Creek Trail, starting from the northwest parking lot of A Place to Play here in Santa Rosa. So if you're planning on coming, please click on the photo of the sneakers on our website and click on that RSVP link so that we know that you're going to be there. You can also indicate if you're looking for a ride or if you are able to give a ride. We can match you up for ride sharing if for whatever reason you don't have a car or you want to help somebody out. It's going to be a wonderful walk. I've already had a bunch of signups on there as well, and I really look forward to it. It's also a very accessible walk too, so it should be a wonderful, wonderful time. Finally, we are super thrilled to partner with Reverend Rochelle McCreary to offer her 5-week workshop called Manifest More Money in the month of September. And that's going to be every Thursday evening in the month of September from 6:30 until 8:30 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're looking to supercharge your abundance consciousness, this workshop is for you. Money and abundance can be really tricky topics, and Reverend Rochelle is going to skillfully lead you through a powerful shift in thinking. You can get more information and register for that workshop on our website by clicking the photo of the stacks of gold coins on our website. That's all that I have. Have a wonderful week, and please enjoy this video from our practitioner, Betty Smith, about her amazing upcoming class. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Betty Smith. I'm going to be teaching an upcoming class called The Power of Meditation. It begins on Thursday evening, August 18th at 6:30 p.m. on Zoom. We use Dr. Edwards' award-winning book with the same title. This class explores many types of meditation you can learn to strengthen your practice at home. Everyone meditates a little differently. Hello, I'm Betty Smith. I'm going to be teaching an upcoming class called The Power of Meditation. It begins on Thursday evening, August 18th at 6:30 p.m. on Zoom. We use Dr. Edwards' award-winning book with the same title. This class explores many types of meditation you can learn to strengthen your practice at home. Everyone meditates a little differently, so we will explore loving kindness, heart coherence, reciting mantras, and letting go to see if one of those is right for you. There will be time for class discussion and sharing best practices. I love to teach, yet I learn something every time I do. Register on the website by clicking on the picture of the woman holding the book. There are discounts for seniors, for teens and young adults, and if you've completed 5 spiritual enrichment courses, the 6th one is free. It's all on the website. I hope you will join me.
Replaying that. Also today, after service prayer, it says on our page you can connect on Zoom with a prayer practitioner right after service. Now, some of you are not going to go and share our bounty, but it's also available after the second service by the time you get home for one-on-one confidential prayer. And the Zoom link is on our website. It's actually quite easy to remember. It's our address, cslsr.org/Zoom-prayer. How easy is that? So affirmative prayer is one of our practices and perhaps the most precious and delightful tool, spiritual tool of our spiritual tradition. It's time for us to close our service now. So won't you please stand as you are able and say, something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. And life is in my affairs. I think it, I feel it, and I accept it. Just the way that it is, and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. Know with me that you are never alone, that Spirit is right where you are, that you have only to look within at any moment to know that you are guided, sustained, and empowered by a presence that expresses itself as you in this world. In deepest gratitude, let us live our lives accordingly, so that in everything that we do and say and think, we honor this presence within. And so it is. And let us close with music. I look forward to seeing you again.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. And no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.